A very warm welcome to a new episode of Melt. I'm Ritvika Gupta shooting from home. The Coca-Cola Company's homegrown soft drink brand Thums Up is now a worldwide partner at the Olympic Games to be held in Tokyo this month. As part of this association, Thums Up has unveiled a marketing campaign titled Toofan Wahi Jo Sab. Conceptualized by Ogilvy India, the campaign is an ode to the athletes and their tremendous journey to reach where they are today. Let's first have a look at the ad.
जो बोले अपने बाप से थोड़ी समझ उधार ले, बजरंग कहीं और हाथ पैर मार ले, उसको पलट दे। जो बोले बंदूक की गोली ना, मन्नू बेटा तू नाजुक और भोली, उसको पलट दे। जो बोले विकास और कितने मुक्के खाएगा, तुझसे ना हो पाएगा, उसको पलट दे। जो बोले मान जाओ, टीम बनानी है तो 11 की बनाओ, उनको पलट दे। क्योंकि तूफान वही है जो सब पलट दे।
To know more about the campaign, Anant Rangaswami, editor of Melt, will be in conversation today with Arnab Roy, Vice President and Head of Marketing, Coca-Cola India and Southwest Asia, and Sukesh Nayak, Chief Creative Officer at Ogilvy India. Let's get ready to melt with Arnab Roy and Sukesh Nayak.
Hello, Arnab.
Hi, Anant. How are you?
Hello, Sukesh.
Hi, Anant. How are you?
Both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anant.
So it's been a very exciting campaign, and that's how I'm setting up this conversation between Thumbs Up and us. So first, to you, Arnab, how did you agree to such an outrageous idea? It's an idea which is way out of left field. You take your brand's logo and put it upside down is not common. I'm racking my brains to figure out whether I've ever seen it before, but tell me, how did you get the courage to do something?
Yeah. So 2 points up, what Anant. I think the first point was we were in the middle of thinking as to where does Thums Up go from here. I think we've been talking a particular, I would say tonality and language for the last few years. And we believed after speaking to our consumers, there was an opportunity to evolve the positioning. And that's where we went to Ogilvy and obviously we started the partnership. Honestly, if you ask me, I don't think it's an outrageous idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. The Thums Up kind of logo had almost become like a wallpaper for everyone. It's a very powerful kind of logo. And with this whole idea, I think the whole concept of the power of the Thums Up actually kind of goes up even more. When you start talking of what you can do with thumbs down, it is the antidote to what Thums Up stands for. And we just thought it is a very powerful platform that we could relaunch this new positioning. And I think that's what started the journey. And here we are.
Right. You've used the word positioning and as opposed to a new campaign thought or whatever. Yeah. So tell me, when you say positioning, it suggests long-termism to the thinking.
Absolutely.
So just expand on that.
Absolutely. See, I think if you've been obviously following all the work around Thums Up, the core values of the brand will not change. But I believe that one of the things that as we speak about what a hero stands for, what does strength stands for, what does masculinity stand for, I think we had an opportunity to evolve the tonality and the way the brand was being positioned more towards talking about kind of real life heroes, what not just something which is extremely macro, but more meaningful and with a slight purpose. And I think that's what the intent is. So as I call it, it's an evolution, but not a complete shift. Because even if you have seen the work, the core values, I think, still remain the same.
Right. Staying with you, Arnab, before I go to Sukesh.
Yeah.
July of any year in India is an unusual time for a big budget campaign. All of you come to the market in late February, early March, and then spend a ton of money during the holidays in the summer, and then shut shop virtually. So tell me what provoked you to do this. Obviously, Olympics is one of them, but it's got to be more than that.
No, I think honestly, Olympics was a big driver. I think, as you are aware, we are one of the oldest standing partner of the Olympic Games since 1928. And when this idea was there, we thought what would be the best platform to launch this. And being completely honest with you, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to establish this whole new thought. India needs a positive story, kind of what everything India has gone through right now. And given that the history, the iconicity that the brand still holds in India, I thought it was a complete sweet spot for us to make this plunge. It was hard to convince, I'm being honest with you. But I think as people understood the power of the idea and the purpose behind the idea, I think it was, since we got the final kind of alignment from the senior leadership, as well as our bottling partners, which was very encouraging.
Right, I'll come to that later. Sukesh, tell me, how did you flesh this idea out within the agency? And how did you present it to the client? And how did you hope to sell it to the client?
So it's an iconic brand, first of all. And when we got a chance to work on it, we were very clear that, like Arnab has just mentioned right now, at that stage itself, we had to not move away, but we had to just take the next step. We didn't have to change much. We had to stay in the world because the world was fantastic. There was a lot of love for the brand. There was a lot of, even today, there are lots of people who swear by it. So we just had to take the next step. And that question actually, for me personally, was a very difficult question to do because it seems very easy. And a lot of ideas were tossed around and the team. But when we had this, we just knew, Anant. I think it took about 2 days to sit internally, if you ask me, because I remember talking about this and everyone's like, what? Really? Can we just turn it over? And then I think a lot helped with thinking on it and honestly just put it together how it can be just beyond one campaign. It's just not about Olympics. And that was the important journey that we had to do. And how did we sell it to Arnab? I showed him a bottle upside down. That's it. And that was it. I showed him upside down and we wrote a very interesting paragraph that basically said, well, it's an iconic logo and it actually stands for much more. And when you talk about Toofan, when you talk about someone with Toofan inside them, only those are Toofan who have the ability to stand up against anything and say, hell yes, I can do it. So obviously, as team Ogilvy, we were very excited about it. But it was nice to have even the partners thinking the same way. And then we just kind of, the journey happened. I think the journey happened. Lots of people stakeholders had to be brought on the idea, and that required multiple calls. But I think our conviction grew with each call, Anand. Every call we had with whoever, it was just that call that said, oh, really? That's fantastic. And that was the answer that came from anybody. So I think we just kept growing, and it helped, in fact, to really plan this campaign out in an interesting manner. And there are lots to come. What we have just seen is obviously the first part of it. There's lots happening. And we wanted to be engaging because for me, the one line was very important was that if I have to make this bottle a voice in the hands of every consumer, then truly it becomes something amazing. And with the Olympics around and people wanting to cheer, I think you will see as the games go on and, as things go on, how we're seeing this idea as engaging, as participative, rather than just having a point of view. So with all that in place, I think it was a very quickly ramped up idea and lots of fantastic people came on board to make it happen. So big kudos to them.
Right. So before I go back to Arnab, in advertising, they're used to working with constraints, especially in the logo area or the colors area and so on and so forth. So we reject these thoughts before we even start. If you're working with MTV, you can play the fool with the logo. You can't play or Channel V or whatever, but you can't play the fool in most other companies or brands with their logos. So what was it where did it come from? What was it that allowed you to be brave with the logo and say, no, I'm going to dick around with the logo? Because this is dicking around with the logo.
Actually, it's not. I think, like I told you, for me, it was when someone says take the next step, it honestly gave me a lot of sleepless nights, and we were thinking a lot around, how you do what you do around it. And when we were just looking at this bottle, and when suddenly said, okay, that's fantastic, and we always see social media, everyone going like, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. It's like a herd mentality, and that's what happens. And then suddenly we said, okay, we're talking about heroism. And heroism, when I look at real hero stories, are truly about people who stand up against everything, and they obviously face on a daily basis all the kind of problems and challenges. And they don't say thumbs up to that. They say, I will show you, man. I will show you how I can do this. And that is not thumbs up, that is thumbs down. And that's not liking. It's like saying, I will prove it to you. And that is what, when it got the bells started ringing in the head. And to us, we felt, yes, we were reversing the logo. Yes, we were asking for something to look at iconic brand in a very different way. But I remember this call on Sunday that we were having, and I was like, I know it. This is the idea, but yeah, I hope everyone else loves it. And like I told you, internally in Ogilvy, it was a couple of days when everyone came around saying, "Oh," because initially everyone's reaction is bound to be, like you said, why you're taking out the logo, and then and everyone thought about it and then said, "Hey, no, actually, we are not. It's quite powerful." And it can be a long-term thing. It can be iconic. It can give us lots of, because when I say thumbs down to, it could be anything, it's about anything and everything. Literally, it could be topical, it could be contextual, it could be anything. I was very relieved once the idea was kind of formed. And I was like, okay, this is it. I know we have it.
Arnab, you have the challenge of, in your business, of selling the idea to the bottlers. That's the way the business runs. You need your bottlers to be behind you on any large uh, media spend or marketing spend. So explain to me how the process of Arnab and his team presenting to the bottlers and getting them on board.
Got it. So I think first is to sell the idea and have them excited about the idea. And I just want to say that the way you need to position the story, this is not a logo change. The logo is still going to be the classic Thumbs Up logo. And I think what this idea does is that it helps to strengthen the power of that Thumbs Up logo, which, as I said, I believe, this is from consumer research, had become a wallpaper. I think it used to be there for a long, long time. And I think all of us just expected it and we're not speaking about it. And so one is that the way we sold the story, I think really excited everyone, right? And that was very important. I think you will all agree, everybody is going through this exact thing right now. So this whole thing about Palat Day, in everybody's life, all our lives, last 15 to 18 months has been horrible. All of us who wants to go and change, Palat our own lives, what we have gone through. The bottlers the whole COVID time, I think all of us, it's not just Coca-Cola India, but I think most FMCG companies have had challenges. And I think so internally, there was a clear connect that, man, this is talking to what we are thinking right now. We want to go and Palat their business. And so that's the way I think the idea connected very well. If we had just gone and shown that, hey, listen, this is a kind of logo change and this is it, without explaining the meaning and the power behind it, I don't think we would have got the line. Then the second piece is to sell them the power of the Olympics. And personally, I am a huge believer in the power of sport and what sport can do in India, and to go and convince them that this can be a game changer means if you look at the games that we're talking about. And I believe that all of these people can be real heroes. And I think hopefully once the Olympics kind of gets underway, the country needs people like these. These are nation unifiers as we speak right now. So I think once you go and explain that, hey, listen, the Olympics can really make a big difference and nobody's doing it. So it's not a very clutter heavy kind of space, at least in India. I think they slowly got into the fact. And obviously having a super strong marketing campaign, which they had kind of never seen, I think, before, at least for Olympics in India, also helped. So those were the things which I think we went and I would say leveraged to align the bottlers. And I can only tell you that everyone in the Coca-Cola system is extremely excited. And I think it's all hands on the deck right now over the next few weeks.
Right. How did your bottlers react to a big Thumbs Up campaign, which does not see Bollywood celebrities in them?
Yeah, kind of very fair point. I would just want to push back a little bit on this. All of these people, all the athletes we have picked up actually are, celebrities on their own. These are real heroes. And I think that's the whole theme of the whole, campaign. Bajrang Punia, he's the world number one right now. our Indian shooting team, they have some extraordinary people right now who are either world number one or world number two. We signed up Atanu Das and his wife. They just broke the world records, recently. So these, I believe that they are as powerful, or they can be as powerful as the celebrities that we have. So I think it is not so much of picking up the classic mindset of celebrities, which are the superstars, but I think picking up people who are real heroes in every possible way. So that was the mindset, at least we are going ahead with.
Right. If I go back to Sukesh, tell me, 6 months from now, how would you measure whether this campaign has worked for you? Finally, there's a brand index, so that's fine, but there's pounds, shillings, and pence, and you need bottles to sell. So tell me, how would you be satisfied that this campaign was a good decision?
Obviously, we have a very kind of rigorous, I would say, measurements kind of system worldwide. Every marketing activity we do. Putting it very simply, the way my belief is on every marketing investment that we have is either this campaign is going to bring us new consumers to Thums Up, or making existing consumers drink more Thums Up in more occasions. And we have some very clear brand equity scores, which obviously has kind of more, I would say, long-term impact. And we are monitoring those. If the campaign is not going to move any of these three needles, I think we wouldn't have been successful. We are going in based on the consumer tests we have done. We feel super confident actually to move all the three needles. At least in terms of our internal consumer research, this could end up as being one of the most kind of successful campaigns for Thums Up in a long time. So, but as I said, kind of obviously the consumers will have the last word. We will track them. We still believe in the power of the idea, and the objective is to learn and then evolve this if it is needed to.
Right. So Sukesh, how will we see this campaign roll out now? We've seen the TVC that's visible. There's not much else visible from the confines of our houses. So tell me, what is the rest of the campaign going to see?
I think Palat Day, the idea has been set in motion with our thought, with our point of view that which you already have seen. We're going to talk about Palat Day moments from the Olympic Games, for example. What were the moments? What were the incidents? Even those stuff, for example. And then there are individual stories coming to you, which is about, right now we showed you a group story of everybody. The individual great stories are coming out on the same idea, which will be releasing soon. And then there will be, as the game goes on, we want this campaign to allow people to cheer with the thumbs up. We want them to help or send their, what they feel for the players as the, tournament is, when the game plays out. And we just truly hope that one of them gets the podium, and that's what we believe. And like Arnab said, I also believe that this team is one of the best teams that we have, the best chance that we have. But sports is sports, and it can happen on one day. We don't know, but we truly hope that once they get there. So we have planned all the way till there. Okay, that's one part of it. But the campaign also, like I told you earlier, we have seen the campaign. We have when we shared with the larger team. And Arnab had to even take internally, it is not just Olympics, it's much more than that. It'll go on further. So we are seeing at least about 6 months ahead of us with lots of things happening across activation, ideas and stuff like that, which is engaging. So right now, obviously, there are COVID times, so people are not going out. But once things improve, we see us taking this idea to the ground because we want it to be the voice of people. We want that to be done. So as and when things open up and, what we are allowed to do more than what we're doing. So currently, to answer your question, we are pretty much on TV and digital right now, currently. But there are ideas, there are thoughts that have been locked. And I think Palat Day, according to us, will be a campaign that will engage people and engage lots of people from across the country in multiple ways as the time goes by. That's the plan that we have for the campaign.
Right. I'd love to close with you. Tell me about how you sold this internally, because it's not an easy sell internally. You're sitting in Atlanta at Coke headquarters, and this is a brand that many may not even be familiar with. And a disruptive advertising route like this is not easy to sell. So explain to me the process and what convinced you to do it.
As I said, I think, Anant, the first is we had to sell the power of the story. This is not when Sukesh and team came. They didn't come with a TVC. We never discussed the TVC at all. And this has been a challenge with many of our agency partners because we typically hear a TVC and then we start thinking, okay, how can we take the TVC into more extended things? I think the beauty of this idea, as you'll agree, is that the core idea was superb. And when we then now start thinking, what's the end-to-end engagement idea, right? Whether you make video content, whether you do something online, whether you do something on ground, whether you do something which is very kind of meaningful with your key stakeholders. I think that's the power of this idea. So I think when you have a strong idea to sell internally, whether international in the Coke system or to our bottling partners, I think the story is the same. And I think there is always good support behind good creative ideas. And that's what I say to all my other brand heads is that if you have a wonderful idea, the company is going to put in their whole strength behind it. And that's what we have done on this one. So that's one. I think secondly, as I said, the company believes, as I said, and this is more in the Indian context, is that the country is dying for positive news, Anant, right now, right? If he had won the World Test Championship, maybe it would have been means a little bit of some news. That didn't happen. I believe that the next positive news chance that the country needs badly is going to come in Tokyo. And it can be wonderful to heal the nation. And I think we as a brand, we have a role, I think, honestly, to make people aware that, listen, there's something kind of magical can happen in the Olympics for this year. And it's the strength of these athletes. This hopefully will inspire people around the country again that, playing an Olympic sport is something you should be proud of, right? Being an Olympic athlete is something we should all be proud of. So with this purpose in mind, I think when you go and kind of speak about this, it helps a lot. And this helps even internationally, because I think you'll see our main, I would say, company's global campaign on the Olympics be released soon. This is a big asset that we have been kind of nurturing over the last many, many years. And so when we are kind of leveraging this asset, I think it's obviously taken in a very positive way. So I would say those two things are probably the big ones. But as I said, this is not a TVC, the power of an idea. And then when you make people dream of what are the things that could happen with this idea, forget Olympics, what could happen kind of next year outside of sports in our everyday lives, that's what they get excited with.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Arnab. Thank you, Sukesh.
Thank you.
All the best for the rollout of the campaign, rest of the campaign, and for the performance of this campaign. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thank
Anand.
you so much.
And that was Arnab Roy and Sukesh Nayak sharing how Thums Up is ready to instill hope and strength among consumers with its new campaign. He is now presenting the Melt cheat sheet. Crafting a positive story will build an emotional connection with consumers. When it comes to celebrity endorsements, sports people can be as powerful as Bollywood stars. Stakeholders and partners will support a strong and creative idea. With that, it's a wrap on this episode of Melt. You can follow us on social media. Our handle is Ready to Melt, and stay updated with all that's happening in the world of advertising and marketing with our daily Melt update on our website readytomelt.com. I shall see you next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.